Are you able to? Yay, wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. My name is Christina Martinez Williams. I live in Fort Washington, Maryland, and I am married and have two little girls who are 8 and 9.5. And when I got started drinking ketones, that was 7.5 years ago. They were little, they were 8 months old and 2 years old, and ketones completely shifted my health. That's how I got started, was drinking them very skeptically and slowly. And then I got started sharing them a year and a half later. So if you are a customer in this chat who's been drinking ketones in this group right here, or watching the replay, and you've been drinking them for a bit, welcome. We love you. We are glad you're here. And I was one of you. And then you're going to hear from people who started drinking ketones at the same time as starting to share them, and then some people that started shortly after they started drinking them. And all of us are here. All of us are in different places and on our different journeys. So again, I am excited to pass the mic over to several people during this call tonight. We're going to keep it tight, but we're also going to share with you our hearts. We're going to share with you what Pruvit has done with us in this community, what we have experienced, not only from drinking ketones, because for sure the product has completely changed who I am. I was asked if I was pregnant when I was 8 months postpartum because I looked like I was, and now 30 pounds down that I've maintained for 5 years of fat down. And people ask me if I do CrossFit when I don't, and that's 10 pant sizes that I've lost. So it has changed my body composition, but not only that, I am a better mom because I have more energy, more focus, and I show up all day with my kids, but I also show up at night. So before drinking ketones, I was a coach of teachers. That was my role before shifting to sharing ketones. I got to coach teachers, and I did that only 2 days out of the week because I chose to sacrifice our finances so that I could be home with my daughters. And that was a sacrifice that made my husband and I live and work from paycheck to paycheck. And that was something that caused tension in our marriage. And we were looking for something different, but at the same time, we didn't really know that there was something different. So I'm excited for you. I'm going to popcorn my story within this time tonight, but I'm going to pass the mic over to Jessica. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Okay, good. I saw Sarah's nod her head. Oh, I see you now. Jessica, perfect.
Hi.
Wonderful. Jessica, tell us about your experience and why you're here.
Thank you so much, Christina. I'm happy to be here. So my name is Jessica Perry. I've been drinking and sharing ketones for about 8 months now. I just moved from New Jersey to Florida, so I am exploring the new territory and meeting a lot of new people. And what's exciting for me is sharing the ketones because it has changed my life. Now, 8 months ago, I wasn't looking to change. I've been in this kind of business model before, and I was already with another wellness company. I was enjoying the supplements, but it wasn't anything crazy. And my friend was hopped up on this drink. She was walking around with this water bottle all the time. And I was like, okay, I need to know what you're drinking. So she told me about the ketones, and I said, all right, I'll try it. And she told me I'd be lit up like a Christmas tree. And I kind of laughed at her because she really was lit up like a Christmas tree. Um, and actually, I started feeling more energy. But the main thing I noticed is after about a month or so, I noticed that I'd be able to come home. Now, I'm in retail. I've been in retail 24 years, so I'm used to eating crazy stuff on the go, not eating sometimes, skipping meals, working crazy hours. I was commuting 4 hours a day round trip from New Jersey to New York, working 8 hours, coming home, picking my girls up from school, cooking, cleaning, getting them ready for bed, all the things. And I noticed that I was not spending enough time with them. I wasn't being present in my life. And that was before ketones. After I started drinking them, I noticed that I had more energy when I came home from work. I was able to hang out with my 4-year-old without telling her mommy's tired after 10 minutes of playing with her. And I'm not tired until I actually decide to go to bed. So, let alone the mom brain, it's been a lot better for me to have clarity and more patience, honestly. So, I love sharing it down here in Florida, and it's changed my life because of the community more so than anything else. Because in this business model, you're not always going to have such a supportive community. And I wasn't used to being so supported, given so much knowledge, so much education, and everyone here just wants to see everybody else succeed, and it's more of a collaboration than a competition. So that's something that was huge for me because it made me feel like I don't have to know everything and I don't have to go at this alone, and people want to see me succeed. So that's just a little bit more about my story and my excitement for the future here at Prove It.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessica. I love that you can show up differently for yourself and for your girls and because of the drink, but then also you're surrounded by people who help you to show up even better and are inspiring you to be your best version of yourself. And Prove It's mission is to inspire people to be the best versions of themselves. And we get to do that every single day. We get to show up and try to, and not try, we get to be our best versions of ourselves. And then we get to inspire other people to do the same thing because we have something that makes you feel better and from the inside out. And then because when we feel better, we show up better. And then we get to help other people do the same thing. And then we get to feel better again. Like it's this back and forth of reverberating. I feel better, you feel better, I get to help more people feel better, and now you get to help more people feel better. And that ripple impact that we get to have as a community allows us to grow and to do things together. I love that we always say we're never in this by ourselves. We're in this together because we do have training. We do have daily opportunities to gather together and grow our businesses side by side. And one thing that it was really special for me today is that I have a customer who was needing some more ketones and she was out and she lives in Atlanta. And another promoter who's not even on my team, not even on my brother's team, lives in Atlanta, and I've known her from the events, and she was willing to go out of her way, 40 minutes out of her way today, to show up and bring ketones for my customer to be able to grab so that she could continue to step into her better. And that is how our community shows up for each other all the time in multiple different ways and in ways that I didn't actually know existed till I was here. I didn't know until I was at an event that that a community could actually exist in a large space meaning like across the world, and in a large space meaning lots of different people coming across their differences to work together and not just compete against each other. And then a large space meaning that together we all got to love one another and serve one another, but also serve the world at the same time. That is incredible, but also work on ourselves at the same time. That's something that I hadn't seen happen in other places. And I've done things in other places where I experienced community and I hadn't experienced it like I experienced it here. And I was in a car accident that was potentially a fatal car accident 2 years ago and walked out where we were upside down, and my girls were in there with me as well, and coming to an event where I realized, oh my gosh, I have this community around me where I can grieve, where I can heal and be held, and then also continue to move forward and to be in gratitude. And I am a completely different person, just like Jessica talked about. I have grown and changed completely. I show up for myself, I advocate for myself. I don't just do things because I should do them. I do them because I want to do them, but because also they're right and good to do. And that is something that Prove It's given me that isn't just because I'm drinking ketones. It's a part of what we get. So I'm going to pass the mic now to Sarah, who's also a good friend and I've gotten to know over the years now as well. And she's been a part of that community for me and a part of that community that's really held me up in those times that were challenging as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Christina. Hello, everyone. My name is Sarah Ramos. I have been drinking and sharing ketones for 7.5 years now. So prior to Prove It, I was a 7th grade math teacher, and teachers in Idaho, let me just tell you, they are very underpaid. They're very underappreciated. So I had to do extra things just to live the same lifestyle that I was living as a college student. So I coached sports after school. I catered weddings on Sundays, and I waitressed on Saturdays. And it was so much work, and I never got to see my husband. We decided that we weren't going to start a family. And then a stranger actually handed me a business card and handed me a packet of ketones. And that's how I got started with this community. What got me most excited is the fact that there's so much more to ketones beyond fat loss. When I really dug into how I could help other people at a really, really high level and get compensated for it, a little switch just went off in my brain. And I said, this is my vehicle to help people at a really, really high level. I'm going to cannonball in. I'm not going to leave any what ifs on the table. And I'm going to see what I can do if I do this at a really high level. And I tell everybody I know about these ketones because I felt really good on them. So I wanted everyone else to feel really good on them as well. And I wanted them to experience ketones. So fast forward, and I was able to bring my husband home after 10 months of drinking and sharing ketones, and I shared them at a very high level. I got to use my teaching skills in a different way, in a way that brought me so much fulfillment. I love educating people on ketones. I love helping people step into the better version of themselves. My husband and I got to start a family. We have a little 4-year-old. Her name is Indy. And what's so magical is the gift of time that you get, the memories that you get to create. You don't miss a beat. We got to see her first steps together, her first words. She has more passport stamps than most adults do. We get to create memories, and it's super, super magical. And so I'm thankful every single day that stranger at table 11 while I was waitressing saw something in me and said, you should look into Pruvit, because it literally has forever changed our life. So thank you, Christina.
Yes. Wow. There's so much that she said that I want to echo, but then add to as well, because when you decide, if you decide, and when or if you decide to join us in whatever way you decide to join us, whether that's continuing to drink ketones, starting to drink ketones, or joining us as a promoter, you get to join in this movement of people who are finding people, and we get to find each other. But like for what Sarah said, someone found her as a stranger. She didn't know that person. I had the privilege of being, my brother, who's on my screen right now, is to the left of me in a green shirt. You'll hear from him, but he talked to me and my parents about it, and I said no for a long time. And then I saw them change. I still said no. And then I saw his lifestyle change. I still said no. But I got to see that from someone I knew close, like someone who is the closest to me. And then all in between exist. And we have the opportunity to share with all of in between, because ketones are such a brand new but age old technology that no one knows about, but that's been here since we were humans created. And that's something that we have the gift of giving. This is something that we have the ability to share with other people. I'm not a salesperson, and that's something that I never wanted to be. And that's something that we want to just present this opportunity to people, present the options of getting started, help educate around what it means and what it means to be with us, as well as share with us, and then help people get it started where they fit in. And that's all we have to do. We don't have to be experts in any of that. We don't have to know what we're doing in any of that. And in the process of that, we get compensated. I love that there's helping professions that do get compensated in our societies. And then I don't love that there's helping professions that don't get compensated, like what Sarah was in and what I was in, as well as in teaching and education. But now we get to be doing that at a different level and continuing to use that same thing. So if you're already in a helping profession, awesome. You can continue to help in that profession and then add this to that. And if you're not in a helping profession, awesome. You get to help people in this profession as well, and get to help people in a way that you're going to be compensated for, because the more people you help, the more you're being compensated. And it actually is real that your finances can shift. When I got started, I wanted $200 to pay for passports for my daughters to be able to travel, because I traveled growing up and that shifted my life. And I wanted that for them, but it wasn't possible. We weren't traveling, and we didn't think we even could do anything extra. And now we're traveling, we're world schooling. We are traveling every 4 months for a month at a time. And we get to do this because of this opportunity. And we also are no longer living in the same way of paycheck to paycheck, of living only for what we need. We get to have some extra wants in life. And that's something that gives us the ability to have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more freedom, and to be able to then also experience for me a fulfillment that is past. I always knew that I could do more, but I didn't know what the more was until I found this and then realized, oh my gosh, I can use all of me in this. I can use all of my gifts and my strengths, and all of you have gifts and strengths in lots of areas and transferable skills that will make you an amazing promoter and sharer of ketones. So I'm going to now pass the mic to my brother, Nick Martinez, who's going to walk us through different ways to get started, share his story, and share some more details.
Absolutely. What's happening, everybody? Thank you, Christina. Nice to see all your faces. Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your story, and Jess for sharing your story. Always inspiring to hear how this has impacted people. For those of you I haven't met yet, I live out in Minnesota. I have two little girls, Callie and Juliana, who are 10 and 8. And when we got started, they were actually 2 and a baby on the way. And I used to be a full-time pilot. In fact, I got a phone call one day from a friend who was a flight attendant that I used to work with, who said, Nick, I found it. And I'm like, okay, what did you find? She said, ketones you can drink. This stuff's going to change the world. We're going to help a ton of people, and we're going to make a ton of money. And in the back of my head, I'm like, oh boy, it sounds like something that's too good to be true. I don't know what ketones are. I don't really want to drink ketones. I don't know what she's talking about. But she said, Nick, I'm going to hang up. I'm sending you a video. You need to watch it. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. I get a text. I watch this video. Maybe you've seen it. It's called the campfire video. It talks about ketones and campfires. I remember watching it and thinking, okay, this is interesting. Is it real? Is it not real? Like that all these things, little motivational speakers running around in your head, making it easier to drop fat, giving you energy, letting you run around and feeling like you're Superman, like all this stuff that just sounded too good to be true. So she calls me back and I'm like, well, is it for real? And she's like, Nick, I've been in ketosis. I did the diet. I'd never maintained it, but when I was there, I felt amazing. It would take me 5 to 7 days to get into that state. And when I was there, I felt energy. I wasn't hungry. I felt euphoric. I slept well. She said, but I haven't felt that way since I did the diet like 10 years ago. She said, I just drank this stuff and I'm having the same experience. So in that moment, I thought to myself, well, either I'm going to try this and it's going to just be another one of those things, or I'm going to try this and it really will change my life and change the people around me and help create an amazing business. And as a pilot, I was always entrepreneurial. I was always open to different things, looking for things that I could do in the nooks and crannies of my day. I never saw something that would allow me kind of time freedom or the ability to maybe walk away from flying. But I was always like, man, there's got to be something I can invest in or something I could do. So when I saw this, I thought, well, the pilots I'm working with all need more energy. The flight attendants I'm working with all need a bigger smile on their face, right? And everybody that I know, including myself, could stand to drop a couple pounds. So there's a demand, and then I thought, I bet you a few of them might want to do more than just drink them. They might want to share them with people if they had a great experience too. That was 8 years ago, and very quickly I went from being just the pilot drinking some ketones on my flights to the keto crack dealer. I was dealing white magical powder. Pilots were dropping envelopes full of cash in my V file. I was dropping envelopes full of white powder in their V files. And it was a successful venture to the point where I was able to walk away from flying and just focus on helping people achieve better energy, better focus, better fat loss, better sleep, better mood. And at the same time, help them build a business, help them learn how to share this with intention so that the people around them that are closest to them, like you just heard from Christina, my sister, and my parents, who now are living their best lives, and then teach them how to earn a reward from it or earn commission and actually earn an income from it. So if you're on here right now and you're maybe you got invited by a friend saying, hey, you got to learn more about being a promoter with us. You got to learn about this stuff I just got involved in. I think it's really good for me. I'm feeling great and I want you to feel great too. And I think you'd be amazing at this. That may have been kind of what they shared. But you might be asking, all right, what do you do as a promoter? Well, number one, you drink the ketones, you drink the product, you start to experience your own benefits, right? Number two, you share it with people around you. And one thing I will tell you is not everybody's going to have the exact same experience with ketones. Everybody's going to be different, right? Because we all have different metabolic makeups. But at the end of the day, I'll tell you a couple things about ketones that I believe make this the number one opportunity that exists right now. So number one, your brain, as you age, I think I'm looking at faces on this Zoom. Most of us are over the age of like 20. As you age, your brain is challenged to get energy. As you age, the food that you ate when you were 20 is not fueling your brain in the same way that it is if you're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, right? That's just a fact. And it's like there's tons and tons of data, research, science to show you why that is. But one thing that's true is when you drink ketones, right here, when you put this into your body, it fuels your brain almost instantly. It passes the blood-brain barrier, it fuels your brain. So if there's no other reason to drink this and no other reason to share it with those that you care about other than to help this thing maintain its functionality into 70s, 80s, 90s, that's why my parents drink this every single day. Well, they get energy. Yes, they are more fit and more trim than they've ever been in their entire lives. Yes, my dad's able to do crazy woodworking with saws, not cutting off his fingers, and make amazing cabinets for my mom at age 74. But the reason that I make sure and that they will never miss a day and drink this twice a day is so that as they age, their brain is protected. So when I know that, when I have my hands on, like, this is literally the only company that you can buy this from. It's the only way to get ketones direct to the brain. There's been brain scans that have been done before and after drinking ketones. Because of that fact, it's one of the coolest businesses that exists. Number one, I want to tell everybody about it. And I'm guessing it. The more that you'll learn, you'll want to share it with the people that you care about. And then number two, you can make money in the process. So why not get paid to help your family and people that you care about feel better and fuel their brain for longevity, help them age well. So how does all that work? We have a website. You'll get access to your own Pruvit website when you get started as a promoter, and you can start sending that to people that you think would be interested in ketones. We have a system that you plug into. We teach you how to introduce it. We teach you how to share about it on social media. I take what I have learned over the last 8 years, and we've created just a very simple step-by-step. If you follow this, people will come to you saying, all right, what do you have? We have a brand new promoter right now in Wisconsin, put up a post saying how great she felt with ketones. Next thing you know, we're talking to a lot of her friends. Next thing you know, they're getting started. They're excited about sharing it with their friends. That's just how this works. And you're going to get paid a percentage every time somebody orders through your website. And what's neat is it's essentially get 20% of all the commissionable portion of the product. And that comes in each month that they order. And I have pilots. I have a pilot named Justin Hickson, who's a friend of mine. I haven't talked to him actually for a number of years, but he ordered for the first time November of 2015. And he orders every couple of months. He buys 3, 4, 5 boxes. And every time he does, I get money that goes into my bank account, which is pretty cool. It's kind of like residual income. And then as a result of me sharing it with another pilot who it completely transformed his life, his wife starts to share it as a promoter. Next thing you know, there's thousands of people that are drinking ketones over here. And I shared it with a friend that I knew from the past, and she shared it with a couple chiropractors. Next thing you know, there's people over here. So if you're just looking to maybe earn some extra money, an extra $500 a month to pay for groceries, to pay for bills, maybe pay for some travel, awesome. Like, let's get you started. We have the ability to do that here. If you're somebody that's saying, all right, I want to create a income over time that will allow me to retire or allow me to kind of shift out of what I'm doing, awesome. We basically just do the same thing. We just do it with a little bit more intention. Or maybe you're like me that I was skeptical. I'm like, yes, I want $500 a month. Yes, I'd love to be able to pay my mortgage and beyond and like replace my pilot income. But what if like you could actually create true lifestyle income with this? Well, that's all absolutely possible as well. So I'm going to show you really quick, and then we'll end here. Just a couple different ways to get started, right? Obviously, you can drink the product. I recommend that if you're not doing that, just make sure you do it. But if you're ready to get rolling like I was, and when I was introduced to this, I started with one of our promoter packs. We have 2 packs I'm going to share with you. There's a few others, but I'm going to focus on 2 because they make the most sense. One's called the Max, and one's called the Mega. And I'm just going to share a slide here so that you can see it. Give me a nod if you can see my screen. Sweet. All right, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. So these are the 2 options, the Max pack and the Mega pack. We call them trial builder packs because what you're going to do with this product is not just drink it selfishly for you. you're going to package it up into little 5 or 10 serving packs so that you can share with people around you. We teach you a system of sampling where you create value in your samples and yes, actually take a little bit of money for them to cover your cost and actually make a little profit. Now, the goal is not to make profit in this, but you can see if you just sell through our max pack, it costs you $558. You'll bring in $960. So you actually earn over 400 bucks. The mega, you're going to get even more, right? It's you're getting twice as much product. You're getting 10 different flavors instead of 5, right? And we're going to teach you how to turn that $1,000 of product into 1,900 bucks. And again, the purpose of this is to get people to taste it, to get people to try it, because you might have some skeptical people in your life that are just like, yeah, I don't know, will it really work? So when I was the crack dealer at the airline, I was bringing 5 or 10 servings so that the pilots could try them. They would ask me in the cockpit, like, what is it? How does it work? I'd give them one. I'm like, here, try this. Like, well, how do I get more? I'm like, here's my website. I want you to order a box, but while we're waiting, grab 5 from me and give me 40 bucks. They'd give me 5 for 40, 10 for 75. And I did that day in and day out. And guess what? They would drink it. If they didn't order, they'd be on their days off. They'd be calling me right before their next trip. Oh my gosh, I'm out. Can you get me more? I'll go on the website and order, I promise. So that's kind of the process. And that's one of the systems that we have in place. It just works. It works magically. People love tasting things before they start. And then we have calls like this. We have a call every day that you can plug into if you want to learn how to share on social media. We have training on how you can share this in person. We have training on how the product works. We have a customer group that really people get to plug into and so much more. So after hearing all of this, my challenge to you, and I'll wrap up with this, is just decide, like, you can choose what you do in life, and there's a million ways to make $1 million. But the question is, if you stay the course that you're on right now, where are you going to be at in 5 years from a health standpoint and from a life standpoint, right? And sometimes we just have to make a shift. Sometimes we have to make a change. Sometimes we have to invest in ourselves or take a risk. Now, the good news is with Pruvit, the only risk is that you're going to feel better. You might drop a few pounds and have to buy some new clothes, right? That's worst case scenario. Best case, you're going to create a ripple and people around you are going to start to change. Your finances will start to shift and you're going to be connected to this community that you heard Christina, Sarah, and Jess mention, which is going to support you, lift you up, and really create an environment for fun and for success. If you're somebody that likes to travel, well, welcome to Pruvit 2.0. We have all sorts of fun stuff that we do, all sorts of events that we get to participate in if we want to. And at the end of the day, it's about growing you so that your business can grow to the level that you want it. So get back to whoever invited you here. Tell them how you want to get started. Say, hey, I want to get started with that max pack, or I want to get started with that mega pack, right? Let them know which one. And let's share this. Let's have some fun. Let's change the world and let's make some money in the process. So with that, Christina, I'll turn it back to you. Thanks for having me on.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Yes, he said it all. So do that. Invest. Thank you for investing your time in us tonight. And we're excited to see you maybe at the next event. Have a great night. Bye.